everybody. Hey, I'm by myself. Where's my co-host? Lisa, where are you? Oh, guess you're not here. Boy, still got a good show today. Boy, we got some cool dogs coming up here. And one of them's not even available for adoption, but we're bringing her on anyway. I wonder why. And we got some good news. You remember Gary out there in Utah with the contest he was in. He made it to the finals. Okay. So I forgot to put the link in the description this week, but I'll get the link into the comments so you can vote for Gary. The prize is $10,000 and he needs 2 new hip replacements. So that's really going to help him. And he made it to the finals. So fingers crossed and see what happens. So anyway, and let's see, any more news? Now, Roman should be here a little bit later. And we're going to talk about Piers digging. Does your dog dig your backyard up where it's not recognizable anymore? Well, welcome to the club. So is there anything we can do about it? Well, let's find out during our talking points. So in the meantime, we're going to get rolling forward here. Remember I said something about one dog not adoptable? Well, we're going to bring her up first because, well, the reason she's not adoptable is why we're bringing her up first. She's in Montana with the Great Pyrenees Rescue Resources, Utah, Montana, and out of Utah. The foster lives in Montana. And this is one good little girl that almost didn't make it out. She's a Texan, and she almost didn't make it out of Texas. Oh, and there she is right there. Wow, we got the whole crew there, don't we?
Yes.
Hi, Joyce.
Hello.
Isn't that the little girl from the video?
This is the little girl, Lorelei with Layla.
So I guess the burning question is answered. Layla does okay with children?
So far, so good. She seems to just love these guys. When she first met them, they got out of the car. She ran right to them.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, her story is an interesting one, isn't it? You want to
Yes.
give us a firsthand view of it? Because I know bits and pieces of it, and the only thing I know for sure is that she wasn't even, nobody knew about her even, so you weren't even, she wasn't on her way to you in the beginning, was she?
No, they had a couple other dogs down there on death row that needed it saved, and I was said, let's just get them. I'll take them no matter what. And then at the last minute, somebody agreed to host them. So they had said, well, there's this other dog on death row, and said, well, let's get her on that plane. And they flew her in, and she went whoopsie, and she went on the transport train all the way to Montana.
Wow.
And that's how she came. And meanwhile, somehow she tested positive for pregnancy.
Yeah, that was her surprise versus I think I'd have rather had a movie and a dinner or dinner and a movie, but that's okay, right?
That's okay. Yeah, we'll love this just fine.
Yeah. So now this is where I'm not clear on. Ashley said that I think she said you wanted to get her tested for being pregnant. Were you suspicious?
No, I think it was either Ashley or Yvette. I can't
Okay.
remember. Was giving her a belly rub, which she loves, and it was kind of obvious that she was bagging up a little bit.
Something was in
And
there.
they thought we better test her. And so, surprise, surprise,
Okay.
they're moving, they're wiggling.
So there's going to be some puppies.
Yes, that almost didn't make it to the world.
Yeah, because now Ashley, in one sentence, she said that she was scheduled to be euthanized that day that she left. And then another one, she said minutes. So I don't know how we get down to minutes, but I'm pretty sure that she wasn't going to make it out of there if you didn't say yes, right?
No, she wasn't. If I'd have said I couldn't take her, there was no place for her to go. So she would have stayed at the shelter in Texas and would have had to be euthanized. So it was a last quick minute decision, and we said yes, get her on that plane before it leaves. So it
Okay.
was uh, it was down to the wire for her.
Wow. Now
She's
that
a
brings
nice
up
girl.
another point. Everybody knows that most rescues, especially the smaller ones, are always begging for foster homes. Okay. Now, if you weren't already an approved foster, that day was not the day to apply to save her.
Correct.
Okay. And so apply now. If they don't have a dog for you, trust me, they will.
Mhm.
And they do their best of matching the dogs that would do best in that foster home. Now, needless to say, circumstances can be, you have to go to the shelter to pull one because they're not going to wait for anybody or whatever. But usually rescues are very good at matching the dog's personality with a good home to set it up for success. Okay. And then if there's any behavior issues, they have plenty of resources. They have trainers on hand and behavior consultants, and they do good. They have all kind of documentation that will help you out, and especially if you're new to the breed. All right. And I'm going to say it, this breed's not for everyone. So they're pretty independent. They're a livestock guardian breed. And if you expect a dog to obey your beck and command, don't get this breed. So, but there's because there's a different way it has to be done. Okay. Wow, she's beautiful. How old do you think she is?
They said she's between 1 and 2, and I thought it was interesting what you said, Steve, about you never know, what comes with a dog. And we had no idea she was friendly with kids or anything. We just said, well, we'll just figure it out no matter
Right.
what,
And the
whatever
reason
comes
you
our
took
way.
it because you have experience with the breed. You know how to handle this. So, but it's not rocket science. If we don't know if they're good with kids or not, let's not have the kids there when you bring the dog in the house. Okay, let's try that one. Right? Sometimes the obvious is the simplest.
Yeah, she's good with cats too.
Wow, look at that. When will she be available for adoption in your mind? Depends on, I know it depends on when she has puppies.
Yeah, a couple of months.
Okay.
If the puppies come next week, it's probably 2 months from then, or
Okay.
however the
Because she'll still
rescue
need to be
plan goes.
spayed.
She's not spayed. In fact, that's what she was going to get done before she came here, and so yeah.
Wow. And what's the young lady's name that was in the video?
That will be Lorelei Dagan, and
Lorelei.
there she is. Yep, and Luke Dagan is sitting right there next. Luke Dagan's there too. We got both of them here. Luke has been very helpful with this dog since he's been here.
Wow.
Hello.
That's awesome. We got a lot of children running around there.
Yes, and as you can see, Layla just loves them
She's
to death.
calm as can be.
Yep, she follows them, and she just loves them to pieces. And even when they pet like little kids like to pet.
Yeah. And part of what happens with this breed, what makes them a very strong and a very good livestock guardian breed is this is the breed that they weren't born to kill. They were born to not want to have to do this, hence they intimidate to keep the predator away. They don't leave the flock. All right. And they bond with their flock. Hence the children. She's bonding with these children. It's obvious. So
she's got quite the flock.
yeah, and always, and when the children are old enough, you'll be able to explain to them, "Sorry, sweetheart, she didn't see you in that way. She saw you as sheep." Wow.
They have
Now,
one that they adopted too, that they fostered, that watches the kids at their house, follows them all around. In fact,
wow.
he's one of their rescue ones, and he treated
Okay.
a mountain lion in the yard. So yeah.
All right. All right. So, um, obviously, this isn't your first foster because you was able to make a snap decision and say yes. So, how was your experience at fostering with Ashley and Mountain Mamas? That's a new rescue.
Yeah, I find those ladies to be amazing. They're passionate, and when I said yes, and they know I'm passionate to the point of tears when I see these things, and I said, please just grab them, and they did. They worked so hard to get her. They've been great. They sent the food that she needed. They sent all of her supplies for her. They've been in touch. One of the reasons why I like to work with these rescues is I know that they rehome these dogs to really good homes.
Right.
And
And
so
if it
I have
doesn't
that
work,
confidence.
they not only take them back, they want them back.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. And
Wow.
so
But
it's been a
they,
pleasure working with them.
yeah, and those ladies in Utah and Montana with Carol and
Yep.
them, I sometimes will reference if you ever have any unexplained seismic activity in Utah or somewhere, don't worry about it. It's just these ladies moving mountains to save a dog.
That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and they do. Man, the ones Rebecca and Ashley and Jess and Sarah and all them, they don't stop till that dog's safe.
Yeah.
They're relentless.
Yeah. I think
But
it would have crushed me, Steve, if those other two, that Samson and Delilah, I was about out of my mind because they were down to like the next day.
yeah,
And I was like, I mean, if we can't help these guys, I can't watch these anymore. And to have those ladies like just jump in there and go for those dogs and just make it work. And then
yeah.
her, I mean, it's
And now
amazing.
Mountain Mamas has property now, and with some good intentions to do with that property. So that's more to come later. All right, it's
Yep.
so awesome. 2 Utah rescues now, and they used to have none.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And you live in Montana, but you're fostering for Utah. So I'm going to assume that you probably were with Carol first at Great Pyrenees Rescue, Montana.
Um, I was on a transport, volunteering for transport. It ended up, I don't remember, I ended up
No.
transporting, I think the first one was a half border collie, half
Okay.
Pyrenees who
So you were
lives here
transport
now.
and ended up being foster.
Yep, transport to foster, and then I'd fostered for other agencies, but like local, but now these like reservations. But these guys, I love how they
Right.
operate. And then,
Okay. Well, you
I
picked
just
a
ended
good
up
breed.
fostering. Yep, I've had several batches of young 3 to 4, 5-month-old puppies that have been pulled out of places and
Well,
placed
you're a
here, and
glutton
they've
for
all got good
punishment,
homes.
getting puppies, huh?
Yeah, I gave up having a yard a long time ago, so I can't wait to hear what is said here today.
Yeah, yeah. And Roman's not here yet, but if he does the show, I know what to do too. But Roman is very good at explaining things, okay, connecting with the viewers. So, and I'm kind of blunt, okay. We do have a comment up here. Oh, the Great Pyrenees Rescue Society says how beautiful Layla is.
Oh,
Yeah. And wow. Okay. So now I did ask you if you were able to stay for the show, and you agreed. So
yep.
we're going to bring our next guest up. Anything you would like to add before we're done, in case I forgot something, because I'm here by myself. I wasn't supposed to be.
The only thing I could say is if somebody wants a dog that loves kids, cats, and is just as sweet as could be, don't miss out on this one.
Yeah, get your applications in now. Get applied now, because don't miss out. If you're on the fence, apply. You can always say, "Nah, I changed my mind later." Okay, and because it takes a little bit of time to go through the application process. They're not going to send you a dog if they don't know you. Okay, so they got to get to know you a little bit.
And
So,
one of the big
wow.
questions is always, how are they with kids and how are they with cats?
That's right.
So it's
And
2 huge checks right there.
yep. And sometimes, well, actually, not sometimes, usually it's the foster that's able to give that answer. So, and wow. So, anyway, now we're going to go out to California. Now,
All right.
our next guest has been here before, one other time, and we're streaming to their page too. It's the Golden Gate Labrador Retriever Rescue. Welcome, everybody. It's out there watching. And so without further ado, we're going to bring your dog up. Hi, Phil. Boy, I just love that logo, the Lab Rescue logo.
Oh,
I love that thing.
that is pretty good. I got it.
Yeah. I saw what Casper was doing when I was introducing Layla. When I said she has a heck of a story, he said, "Here, hold my beer if you want to hear a story." So he does have a story, doesn't he? He had a problem.
Yeah, he's had a rough road. His mom, who was full Pyrenees, had a litter of 6 pups. So he's no lab at him. Apparently, they told Golden Gate that the dad was lab, which wasn't true. So they found the mom in the litter in a field, went to a boarding facility or a shelter for about a month. Golden Gate got involved. Then he went to a shelter for a month. Then he was with 2 fosters. Then he got adopted for until May of last year over resource guarding. And then he was spent another 5 months in a boarding facility. And again, his time was coming to an end because of the cost and everything to keep him there until they found a foster. And so my girlfriend and I stepped up back in October. And we've had him since October. He's a great, sweet, lovable dog. He's getting tired now because he knows he's on camera. He was surrendered back to Golden Gate Lab Rescue because of resource guarding. It's hard to believe, hard to say if you can believe everything, but apparently resource guard anything he had. And as you can see, we spent some time working with Steve. That's Steve's help, and we feel that the resource guarding is gone. We feel really comfortable taking anything from him. He's really good about it. We do have a technique that we still continue to work with, just in the event when he does get adopted. The adopters will have a technique they can use to get any objects out of his mouth. Like you see, toys was apparently one of them, but I have toys here where we've been playing tug of war. And again, he's 85 pounds. He'll be 2 in April. The estimate is he's neutered and he's chipped. And again, I've had labs for 30 years and been fostering for Golden Gate Lab Rescue for a year and a half. I've had 11 labs come to our house. This is the first Great Pyrenees that I've ever been in contact with. And I'm very impressed with the breed. I mentioned to Steve, maybe one day I'll start fostering Great Pyrenees because he's
you got to stop saying that.
Smart dog.
Kill me.
I know. He's a very smart dog. He's got a wide variety of commands. He also is a great communicator. Here, you're in my way. You make a better Gordon when you come on. He knows I have treats. Come here.
Right. Now, we're going to touch briefly on resource guarding here. All right. That is a natural behavior out of any dog. So never be surprised if a dog wants to guard his food, especially his food, because that's vital to his survival. He's going to guard what's vital because he doesn't know who you are. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know where his family is, or if he was wandering the street, he doesn't need you. Okay. And you're a predator in the beginning, especially if you go up and take his food away from him. So, or anything away from him. All right. A lot of resource guarding will relax over time. Okay. And just a little fun note, you know who guards their food worse than anybody? Humans. Just so you know. You try to take a steak away from me once and you see what happens. You wish you had a dog that was resource guarding. So he was moved an awful lot, and he's not even 2 yet. And
when we first got it.
Yeah, your signal's a little bit choppy there on the video, but we can get good of it. Wi-Fi is fickle, okay? The signal this pulsates and they're fickle. So, wow.
I'll leave it.
I hate to do this, Phil, but I had to get a shot of that. Okay. That's why we keep everybody up so they can see what I see. All right. In the big screen. Hi, Lisa. I'm glad you could join us. You forgot, huh?
No, I had technical difficulties. I couldn't get my computer. So I'm on my neighbor's computer, but that's why I'm a guest.
Gotcha. I didn't know you was a guest.
Yes.
Okay. I don't see that part.
Sorry
so Phil, what would be Casper's perfect home? What would it look like?
I believe anyone that's willing to work with him, take him out, continue with his training. He's become a very loyal companion. So I think a good place where they could get him out, he loves hiking. He loves the outdoors. A place at least has a good yard that he could do his thing. He likes to go around the whole yard fence line, do it. And it's pretty amazing to watch how he's first thing out there in the morning. He runs that fence line and checks everything out to make sure everything's okay. Again, he's been around a couple small kids, but I wouldn't know about if that's would be the ideal
He's still pretty
situation.
young.
Come here, Layla.
What's that?
He's still pretty young.
I think the other thing is, and I think with young kids, because he's got this bubbly personality, and he's just very happy. He might knock him over more than anything. So I would definitely maybe go with the little bigger kids for him to be around, and not the little infants type, because he will with this big paw, just with a handshake, he'll probably knock him over. He's so big, but. Yeah, so that's the kind of family. See, I definitely, someone asked one time about an apartment. I would not put him in an apartment, even if they said they get him out every day. I think it'd just be too noisy for him because of the barking. He will, he'll hear the noise and do a lot of barking. So definitely a place where the more the quiet the place, probably the better. I didn't realize that the road that we back up to is a very busy road. So he does bark, when he hears stuff, which is common for the breed. He's doing what he's bred to do, and so yeah, that's what I would say, Steve. His bark is. If someone walks in this house, they have "stupid" written all over their forehead because his bark is loud. He's got one loud bark, right?
That's awesome.
I know.
Now, his perfect home, would there be a four-legged playmate for him?
Oh, most definitely. We have a 7-year-old yellow lab, and they play tug of war. I thought he would guard the toys when she's around. They play tug of war with them. My dog's laid into him a couple times when she's done playing, and he just walks away. Hey, leave it. He'll walk away and say, "Okay, I get it." So yeah, he does play great with our dog. Plays all the time, and she's only 50 pounds. And he's 85 pounds, so she gives him a run for his money. And they play pretty good. A couple times, my girlfriend got a little nervous, and I know, Steve, we sent you some videos. You said maybe one probably could have called a timeout on, but yeah, they get along great. She's mentoring him in many ways, especially when we're walking and doing heel command. So he's definitely learning from her in many ways.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cats. We don't own cats, so I think.
Cool. Now he had a problem with your girlfriend, which you're getting ready to get married, aren't you?
Yeah, April 19th.
Yeah, it's been nice knowing you.
It wasn't really a problem. I think she was just more uncomfortable. She, especially when the two dogs were playing, she just thought, he's too big. He's going to hurt her. And I'm like, no. And
she was more nervous than the two dogs were.
Exactly. Totally. all my babies will get hurt.
Right.
So,
but she had both of you had an unwanted behavior that he was doing other than the resource guarding. Resource guarding with him, I wasn't worried about it, and that went away quickly. But he would jump up on her, huh? When she saw him, she would greet, and he would jump up on her. And how did we stop that? It doesn't happen anymore unless he's invited, right?
Yeah. So basically, when she comes home from work, if he comes near her, she'll stand up, cross her arms, and look the other way. He'll then start to circle her, try to get eye contact with her, and we only had to do that a couple times, and now she just comes in. He walks upside next to her, just happy, but no jumping at all.
That's right, because he's rewarded for all paws on the ground. And they want to please you. Okay, once you understand the breed, then this is the best breed on the planet. Once you understand, okay, and but yeah, it didn't take long, just a couple of times to get him to stop jumping up on her, huh?
Exactly. He's a very smart dog. He's learned so much quickly. Matter of fact, when we first got him, we take him out in the morning out front, morning and evening for potty break. He literally would pull me through the front door to go out.
Cool.
Now I open the door, he stands there, we casually walk out. He learned that in a week. just to be able to calm down. We're going to walk outside for your potty. He knows the word potty. You go potty? You got a potty? You got a potty?
So you can cue.
You know, he's housebroken.
There's your cue to go potty. So that's awesome, Phil. Labrescue.org. That's where you apply for Casper. Or he's got a courtesy listing. Yeah, he's got a courtesy listing at the Great Pyrenees Rescue Society, which there's a link to take you to labrescue.org to apply for him. And this is one good little guy here. He's a high achiever. A matter of fact, the behavior consultant, he's on their wall of fame, isn't he? He made the wall of fame at New Hope. So, all right, Phil, I appreciate it. We still have Roman and 2 more dogs to do yet. So, yes, he is.
Yeah, he's a great dog.
By the way, hi, Melanie. I'm glad you could make it. I thought you weren't going to come today.
I made it.
I see that. All right. So the next 2 up are with the same foster. And she's one that, she has 2 dogs digging in the backyard that Roman is going to talk about a little bit. And I'm not sure which video to play, so I'll just go ladies first. How about that? Wow. What a heck of a tune now, huh? That was
Okay, so wait.
Now is that her, Mita?
Yeah, I had the camera on Sully.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mita.
We could have left it on him for now, and I picked the wrong
it's just
video.
that you put so much of Sully as her. I mean, it's easy to get them mixed up, but I figured, okay, well, this is her.
But she has
segment.
badger markings. We have to remember that.
She has badger markings, and she has the eyeliner look as it's scarring from the surgery that she had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I think I'm going to do is we will play Sully's video as our exit video today instead of the normal exit video.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
We've done that
sounds
before.
Good.
Yeah. Because we still have Roman here that needs to talk about, probably a problem you have with 2 piers. What's your backyard look like?
Lots of holes. Lots of holes.
All right.
I started decorating. I started
forgot.
decorating. Yeah. The dirt is covered with pots. You know, the pots were on the side of the landscape area. Now they're in the landscape area to discourage them from digging holes.
Gotcha.
I have mats, old.
So what do? They dig
down.
next to them. They just dig next to them.
Generally, yes, they find somewhere they want to dig and go. So,
so the diversion just kind of isn't working. Is she still
Um,
clean,
it-
Mita?
overall, it does work actually.
Okay.
So, but we do have to keep an eye on them because every once
Okay.
in a while they get interested. So,
But
and
her
it didn't
eyes are
help that, yeah,
her
looking
eyes are
good, huh?
looking great.
Yes.
She had double entropion surgery, right?
Right, right. Which
Wow.
is, yeah. So I had her, I've had her since July, but part of that was recovery.
Right.
And
Right.
Sully had been returned by his foster because he does not like cats.
Okay. So no cat
Um,
home.
right. And he's no cat
And
home.
she's not a
So,
big fan either. She thinks they're evil, right?
yes, anything small actually, because there's a lot of small critters out in the morning when we go for a walk. Armadillos,
Okay.
cats. Yeah, they
How long is
they definitely guard
yeah, how long has
against
she
them.
been doing this
Scratching.
at her ear?
I guess because she just got up. It's not
Could be because it
a
might be sore
recurring.
too. Might be sore.
Well, let's look
That's something to
inside.
look at. Yeah. Well, you don't have to do it now.
It's not inflamed.
Okay. There
So
you go.
yeah, whenever there's a problem we can't handle here, we contact
Contact your
the
headquarters.
foster coordinator, and she
Okay.
gets in touch with
Cool.
headquarters, and we get medical help.
That's right.
So sometimes it's right out of headquarters. If we need a vet, then she'll go to a vet.
That's awesome. So your
yeah,
fostering experience also is pretty decent, huh?
yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Well, you got
we
two
we have
dogs
good,
and no
good
backyard.
support. Yeah, yes. But anyway,
Is Mita
yeah,
still the queen?
yes,
Okay.
yes. She definitely tries to run the show.
And you
So-
originally, when you went to pick her up, you only went to get just her, right?
To get just her, but as I was saying about Sully had been returned to headquarters because the fosters had cats and he was not getting along with cats, and I think another one of the dogs. So he gets along with dogs in general, but sometimes he'll single out ones that he doesn't like.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're not quite sure why, but that's what he does.
Well, it
And
could be on the other dog,
so
too.
Melise had put them together in the same room, so they were buddies. And I took Mita out of the room, and I'm looking at Sully, and it's just, there's no way I can leave him behind. So
Mhm. Wow.
I took them both.
So you came home with two and say, surprise, surprise.
And then 3 days later, Mark, my son, left. So I had him for a month all by myself, and that was quite a lot.
But you did it. You did it. You
Yes,
didn't
I
call
did.
her up
I
and say,
did.
you got to take a dog back. You didn't do that.
It was hard because I have to work, and they were left alone for an extended period of time. But he got back a month later, and they do well or do better with somebody home,
Right.
and without being in the crate for extended periods of time. They do well for a few hours, but ideally we don't want them to be stuck in the crate all day if they don't have to be.
And you don't want to keep swapping dogs out unless you got a plan set up, but because it's hard on the rescue when the foster says, get this dog out of here.
Right.
We can't be doing that. There's
Exactly.
resources. Okay.
Exactly, because you commit, you do. I mean, there's got to be something just not that you cannot live with before you turn the dog back in, and not being able to get along with the home dogs, I think would be, or home cat would be something.
It can be a challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So unless you are ready to deal with the behavior, it's probably better that you get a foster that blends a little better, or at least responds to the training that you do to get the foster and the family to live together.
Okay.
So I don't have any home dogs. I just have fosters. So
you don't have to have a home dog as many dogs as you fostered.
Right. Exactly. So I don't have that issue to deal with. So it's
you know,
makes it easy for me to commit and say, yes,
Yep.
I will have these
Wh-
dogs.
Why don't
until they
you
get adopted.
why don't you put the camera back on Sully for us?
I will.
Yeah,
But she looks look how good
I
looking she
know.
is.
She's
She's just such
gorgeous.
a
Yeah.
fine, beautiful queen. So let's go look
I,
at
I I
the
used to
beautiful
mix
boy.
them up. I used to mix them up
Yeah,
all the
yes.
time.
Yes, it's easy to do so because they are just so close with each other. So that's
Now,
Sully's
their
hanging out.
perfect home, their perfect adopter would adopt them both, right?
Oh, that would be perfect, but
Yeah,
it's okay if it
but
doesn't happen.
then we go back to the
Sully
real
could,
world,
yeah, right.
and it's
Sully
not
could
required.
probably be, yeah, Sully could probably be an only dog, but Mita definitely wants a playmate.
Yeah, they've been together since July, and they've been getting stronger and
Yes.
stronger together.
Exactly. They like each other. It's gotten to the point where I take them out in the morning and they start doing bitey face in the middle of the road, and it's just okay. You can't do that.
At least
And
they don't pancake in the middle of the road on you.
Exactly. Well, I go out early enough where there's not a lot of traffic, but yes, I've decided that we have to stop and sit if they start doing that,
Okay.
and they have responded well.
Man, they're two
Because
peas in a
yes,
pod. They're almost
aren't they lovely?
that's
Aren't they lovely?
starting to get a
Yeah.
little scary, isn't it, Roman?
Yeah. So they're about 85 pounds. Both of them are each. They've got different body types. Mita is more stocky. Sully is more slim. Sully will be 2 years old at the end of this month, according to the stray estimated birthday. And Mita just turned 3 last month. So
All right.
yeah, they've definitely grown out of a lot of those original tough to deal with puppy-like behaviors. So
Yeah.
that they were definitely expressing in the beginning.
Right.
Chewing, the whole digging thing, they don't do it as much. It's not like they don't, but they don't do it as much.
Well, there's
They
different
respond
reasons.
to they respond to, for example, you can't be doing this whole play thing on the leash in the middle of the road. We stop, we sit, we wait for them to settle down, and then we go on and walk, and they've responded to that procedure as well. So
Cool.
yeah.
Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org.
Yes.
That's where they are. You know what, Roman? One of these days, I want to talk about how to identify and what to do if you see how to identify if they start to become a bonded pair, and how to head that off at the pass. Well, maybe
Agree.
we make that a talking point one of these times, because I'm getting a little nervous about them of what I'm seeing.
They are very fond of each other.
Yeah. So we may have to assess that. But anyway, and speaking of okay, anything you'd like to add quickly before we move on? We don't want to run out of time.
I live near a hospital and a like old folks home, and sirens is what sets off Mita. And now it's become a howl fest because
she sings.
Sully joins in. Yes, they both sing to the sirens. So,
okay, so you got a chorus line.
A place that's not near a hospital would be ideal.
Gotcha.
Nice
okay.
yard, maybe something rural.
But to be clear, they're not working dogs. They wouldn't do well out there.
No,
Maybe
they would not. They would not. They would not work. Early in the morning. Yes, we've come
as
across
a sole job anyway.
Correct. So. We have come across coyotes, for example. They were very interested, but they didn't even bark. And it's like, now you don't bark? Now?
Yeah, really.
This is when I need you to.
Yeah, now you're quiet.
They were just curious. So, they would
remember that, Phil.
Yeah. It would be backwards. They would be barking at things like cicadas, which Mita does, and not at coyotes, which they don't.
You got some weird fears.
Yes.
Well, I guess, okay. Well, all right. Okay, Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org. You're a crack up, Christine. Wow, thank you for bringing them on. Thank you for fostering. And we're moving to Roman now.
There you go.
And all throughout the show, it's been speckled with dogs digging. And I mentioned that, well, there's more than one reason to dig, but what about if they just digged it and it seems like they're just digging to dig and they don't lay in it because it's the wrong time of year? What do we do?
Well, get a gold license, so maybe they dig for gold.
There you go. Okay. Problem solved.
So in general, digging is a natural behavior.
Mhm.
And if a dog doesn't have anything to do,
Boredom.
digging would be a boredom behavior.
Mhm.
Um,
If it's hot out, they'll dig down to the cooler soil and lay in it.
well, you told me that they just dig and walk away.
Well,
No.
some do
No.
sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if we
Yeah.
say, if we look at the general, the picture changes. So
Yeah.
digging could be a grounding behavior. Grounding means the dog needs soil to ground. So digging is one thing to do. It brings the dog in the present moment, and I can call it grounding behavior. I can encourage it by creating a little digging pit. Could be a little kiddie pool with some
So assign them
Children.
an area to dig in.
right, and assign that area. If you want to go very fancy, take some little dry treats and just stick them there and let them find it out. And so you have this dedicated area. I've noticed that some dogs are copycats. They see you digging in the yard, they do the same thing, and then tell them you're wrong. You dig too. So I encourage people who proactively don't want the dogs to dig, don't let them see you dig because they're going to do it too.
Yeah.
Then the other thing that dogs dig is usually one part would be try to find. So some dogs try to dig their food.
Or they can hear a mole underground.
That can also be the case. Dogs can hear -4 decibel. 0 is what we usually can not hear well. And so they can hear -4 decibel and 43,000 hertz. My hearing stops at 23. So they can hear frequencies we don't hear. So that out of nowhere, or he barks at nothing or digs at something we don't know about, that could be one case. Some dogs can hear underlaying pipes. So if you have a pipe coming in from the outside yard, and the sprinklers would be a great idea to dig out. So sprinklers, underlaying pipes, gas pipes eventually, who have this sound coming in. Even though they're very deep, they can still be heard. So these guys who go on the streets, they have headsets on, they hear the sound of flow with
That's
the
right.
pipe. So the dogs can hear that too. Cooling options is also one. Some dogs try to cool themselves down, so they dig, cooling their legs off. And then some of them lay down. My dog usually would dig under the soil, under the tree, and be there, taking the cold stream from the leaves and cool himself down.
Yep.
But in general, I would not punish it.
No.
Digging is not a punishment behavior. You don't like it, set up a little fence. You go to Home Depot or to these stores, get this little partition fences, the wire fences, drive them in the soil, and kind of create that area. You're gonna create two things. Either you're gonna trap the dog inside that digging pool that you don't want to, or you trap him outside. In order to disencourage your dog for doing that, one thing I would highly recommend: don't pay attention to it.
Mhm.
Make a calendar and note, when is my dog digging? So you have an overview. He digs usually after the school bus leaves. He digs when I'm not at home. So try to see the pattern, what's happening. Because if your dog digs and you get out to address the dog issue, you may eventually reinforce the dog. Digging is what gets your attention.
Yeah. And part of what digging is, one of the reasons, it is also, it could, depending on the context at the time, it could be a calming attempt, a self-calming attempt.
Yeah, well, boredom
Yeah.
calms yourself down from those.
Yeah.
So yeah, calming effect is definitely because it feels grounded. That comes with it, calming.
Right. And
so
the school bus just
very
left,
true.
that stressed him. Okay.
Right. And so if the dog gets stressed with traffic or school buses and kids, that could be kind of like his outlet. Exercise, lack of exercise can also be part of it.
Yeah. Long toenails, that helps trim them.
Definitely clear. But who wants to trim
Yeah.
guardian dog's nails?
No,
That's
well,
another chapter right there, right?
Well, they
But
got a pair in the back that they can't trim.
if you have a dog who likes to dig and you have nails who are long, introduce the scratch board.
There you go.
Scratch board is basically a piece of wood, a little bit long, maybe 12 inch by 24 inch sandpaper. You can get them at the store. Like usually flooring stores have this kind of big size of papers. You don't have to buy from Amazon 500 pieces for $350. You can just go to a store and get one. Then staple it on that board and put a couple of treats under the board. Put
Right.
it flat on the ground and the dog will try to get it out.
That's right. Wow, I just saw some aha moments there.
What was that?
That was a good idea.
Right? If you want your dog to scratch the back legs, you have to put the board like upwards against and then have the dog trying to get up the bed.
Or
Scratching
you
him.
can watch him when he's pooping and hurry up and lay it behind him. Or when he never mind.
But some
Now-
dogs want to scratch with going with back legs and try to get up and scratching on the board. Then you just reward that action and give that a name again.
Now, something that I do that has been effective, nothing's 100%. So you're going to want different ideas, because the reason they're not 100% is because one of the solutions may not be the reason he's digging. Okay. But anyway,
Right.
give him a sandbox in a certain area. You can assign a certain area of your yard that he can dig in, and you do that with sand. And similar
The
to
neighbors-
what Roman said, yeah, like
The
neighbor's yard.
neighbor's yard.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So you'll go to, when you go, for some reason, when a dog digs a hole, you try to use the same dirt to fill it. It never fills it, does it? So you're going to be out buying topsoil anyway. Buy some sand. Okay. Pick your area, fill those holes with sand, fill the other areas holes with the topsoil. Don't put poop in them. Fill them with sand. Remember the treat Roman said to put there? Put them on your holes that you fill with sand. Don't let him see you do it. And walk away. Nothing's ever happened, and just let him out as usual. Let him
poop
figure it
in the
out.
hole doesn't really work, because once the dog starts digging in the poop and then he comes inside the house, it's a double pooped area. You don't want that.
And it had no effect on your dog on digging.
Right?
They didn't care. Think about it. Dogs eat poop sometimes.
Yeah.
We don't want him to dig it up and eat it.
So that's pretty much the only times I saw dogs digging, unless I miss anything. I don't think so.
So,
One other thing that I noticed eventually, dogs digging could be lack of some particular enzymes that are in the soil. And naturally, also dogs who have thirst can also start digging.
Yeah.
So digging in general is a mindset of I want.
Yeah.
I want, get to it is kind of the transcript. So what does the dog want to get out of it is then the second question. So if you see a dog digging, the next question is, why does he want and what does he want? That digging.
that's right. And are you able to give it to him?
Right.
What that's called meeting the dog's needs. But first they have to be identified. Because trust me, with most folks, I don't know about everybody here, with most folks, what that dog is thinking and what they think that dog is thinking is two different things. So,
Often I see dogs, just remember they have a missing supplement or missing ingredients,
Right.
and their mind says, then dig it out. And so he goes digging, not really knowing what he's digging for. So these are a few things that can play a role. Sometimes dogs don't dig because they thought about it. It's just something in themselves tells them to dig.
so all right. Hope that helps. A lot of different reasons for a dog to do something. And always remember, they'll never do anything for no reason. So there's always a reason. So that changes the way behavior works now. It really does. Years ago, it wasn't accepted that the dogs had a reason to do everything. The general training industry did not believe that. Okay. It wasn't in 2005 is when we started seeing it come about.
Yeah, there was a little bit of shift happening later. Well, we had only like 30 or 40 research papers in the 60s.
Right, right. Because you got to remember, science isn't focused on dogs all the time because you have diseases and COVID and stuff. But
Yeah.
now we do have folks that are dog folks, okay? But not the entire community. They're busy and they're smart.
And dogs don't make so much money in research.
And dogs don't make
Unless it's
money.
about food. That's a lot
Right.
of money in there.
Right. And then if you get a study that says this and this, well, don't just put it in the bank. Look for more studies. See if there are opposing studies that make sense. Okay.
Yeah, study is not a study because it's a study. We have to
Right.
study the study to make sure that the study is really a study.
There you go. And he's absolutely right about that. Okay. And then you got to understand their terminology too, because theirs is different than the average person. So, and anyway, wow, what a show, huh? Thank you, Roman. But I do want to cover whatever it was I just mentioned. I'll have to look at the video. And what was it I just
Bonded
mentioned?
pairs.
Bonded
Heading off
pairs. And how to identify the beginnings of it so we can hopefully head it off the past. Because that's actually a bad thing.
Is it a question to me or is it just a general statement?
That's a general statement, but I think
Oh,
maybe we
gotcha.
could get you on to cover it.
Well, definitely, yeah. It's a long story, so we have to kind of literally pay a couple of like a time period to kind of go through these different stages, because we have to look. I got to give very short. We have to look in the history of the dogs, the development of the dogs, early puppy development, and how those two dogs end up at your place.
Right.
Through the rescue, through the adoption, through shelter, strays, because this is how those dogs bond before they come to you. So there's a bonding issue going there, which is not a wrong issue, right? It's
They feel
Unfortunately-
they can't survive without one another.
yeah, there are different reasons, but I want kind of to note something. There is no other species in this world other than the dogs, according to some people, that have problems with siblings, syndromes, whatever they call it. That's just a heads up. Why only dogs, right? And not other animals? Why not cats?
And do
Why not
dogs
birds?
really have that issue, or is it us injecting our thoughts and
Right.
labeling it?
So sibling syndrome in general is the idea that two dogs are growing up together without parenting intervention.
There's your problem.
That's it.
Without parenting intervention.
So it's not different than we having two siblings at home
Right.
and the parents don't live in the house. They're gonna get in trouble, they're gonna do things, we call it later on when they continue being together, then inbreeding and so on. So we have to kind of see the big picture here. So if we don't protect and don't support those children emotionally development and the social development, they're gonna end up with a problem at some point.
Yeah. Right.
Now, same sex or different sex, it doesn't matter. However, female dogs, because of the secrecy to protect their offspring, are likely more tendency to react aggressively towards a problem than males would do.
I agree
The
with
males
that.
want to stay safe, the females want to protect. So they have a clash. So we have two siblings, one of which is a female, and she gets overwhelmed with those things. It can happen that overwhelming of the needs of the one dog, or they get in trouble and don't know how to resolve the issues, they're going to end up in a fight. That's what we see then as a problem. And then because we don't understand why they do that, we just dump it in as a syndrome, which doesn't even make sense because syndrome is not
That
the
means
right word.
somebody didn't know what to do about it, so they put a
Right.
label on it.
And so I tried to trace it back, the origin of that, and I ended up with a book about Goldens. Somebody wrote and put that word in there. So if you do a Google search, like a science search, you can end up with that book as the first.
So a golden retriever person first put syndrome in with dogs.
Right, and that becomes kind of like a thing. Or he heard it somewhere and just put it in the book.
Gotcha.
But there is no scientific evidence or any research paper mentions sibling syndrome.
Yeah.
But
You know what
we have.
I stumbled
we-
across a study, sorry, Roman, that was questioning if dogs that male and female, or female, male, male, if they aren't in heat, and if there's no, they were questioning if they even realized sex. the sex of the other dog. It was questioning that. And I just
Well,
barely started looking into that.
Hormone is clearly a driving force.
Sure it is.
So even the dog knows or not, once the hormones kicks in, the dog is forced to do it.
Well, yeah, but that would be something to have to kick it in.
Yeah, well, age kicks in, the hormones kicking in, the behavior will kick in.
Yeah.
Right? It's like us in the spring going outside and we are all la la in the summer and birds and let's go to the beach, like, and your partner is like.
The study was questioning it. Like I said, I just stumbled on that one last night.
Right.
So I'm going to look into this and see why they're questioning it. I don't even know what year it was yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the other part is when dogs have social development issues and don't have a reference point, like they haven't seen how they can troubleshoot or problem resolution, then they're going to end up with behaviors and there is no stopping on that behavior because there is no regulation, and they're going to enter in a fight and they're going to hurt themselves.
Yep.
It's not different with kids in the house. They play and then somebody starts crying, and we know that game. You play rough until somebody gets a boo-boo, and then, mom keeps in and yells at everyone. And my question is, where's mom before that?
Right.
Or not mom, I'm not sexist, whoever partner it is. So we need to teach those dogs in general up a limit. When is the top limit of how things are tolerable? Okay. And it's something that's ongoing. So I would say that behavior will kind of kick in between 4 and 16 weeks, what sets in. And then from there, if it's not being addressed, it's going to kick in later 16 months.
Yep. Now, wow, we're on overtime. Hey, so now I just lost my train of thought because I saw that. Okay, that's my excuse.
She's snoring.
Oh, I remember I was going to ask Roman. So far, your online LGBT parenting classes, the first one was amazing. Now, if they didn't sign up, is it too late?
No, you guys can still join. Kind of like try to catch the train kind of thing. Okay. So we have a little group. It's the parenting group. Everything is in there. We have the first week already posted there. So if you want to join later, you can join, catch up with the videos. We have a couple of days until Tuesday.
Video and transcript too.
And transcript. And we have some supporting documents. Interesting. And then we have an open conversation. So if you guys watch the video and have some questions, you can type them in, even if you're not being live there. However, it's nothing more better than being live on the show and then asking questions at the end.
Right.
I want to clarify that some people think they're going to solve the problem. So my dog is aggressive, is killing my kids, and I'm going to join their class, and my problem is solved. It's not going to happen. But
it could. I mean, he's going to give you different ideas.
Right. But at the beginning, it's understanding the basic concepts of, if we talk about behavior, why is it getting a behavior? What is the dog? What is the breed? What is the Pyrenees? What is a Maremma? What are these breeds that makes them a guardian breed? And why are they stubborn? And why are they like not listening? And why do they fight at the fence? So we understand those concepts, and then we slowly we can separate those basic reasons why dogs actually have behaviors. And then, for example, next week we're going to talk about more about how I need to grab my cheat sheet here. So we're going to talk about holistic dog training and parenting. So we're going to go a little bit concept what is our relationship to the dog's education and behavior. We're going to talk about the framework, and we talk about the philosophy of do no harm training and why we should not use aversive methods and why is it better to use force-free methods. We're going to talk about understanding of dog needs. If we understand the dog's needs and they don't have to fight or be aggressive about it. We talk about how to build trust through positive reinforcement. We're addressing behavior challenges a little bit, just the general stuff. And then we're going to talk about case studies. So we're going to take a case, we're going to take him apart, bringing it individual parts, and then understand each part and then put them back together and see how it end up in the end. That's our second unit, like next week. And then we have more units later.
As a matter of fact, studies are very important. Very important.
Yes.
Because somebody is doing all the work, telling us what they've learned so we can do better with the dog.
I said case studies, so we're going to take a behavior case that I worked in the past,
Right, I
see what
understand.
happened in the past, and then disassemble it, understand the individual pieces of it, and then put it back together so you can create the same similar
That's called a
situation.
study. That's called a
Right.
study. Yeah.
Yeah, not study.
Yeah, I know it. I know it. That's called a study. In fact, I just invited Roman. If you haven't seen it on your email, you should open your email to start a study. Me and him start a study on something. So more to come on that, because he may say no, and I'll drop it. Simple as that.
No, I'm on for it because there are lots of studies out there that I see are problematic. So, for
Yeah.
example, a study that looks at aggression of dogs, and they don't include the food, and they don't include vaccinations, and they don't include previous trauma. It's not a clear study. I don't really know why the dogs are fighting. I guess
Right.
we're fighting, but don't really know about it. So when I see aggressive behaviors, the first thing I'm going to rule out is underlying medical conditions. Check. And even if it's healthy, nobody looked at the thyroid issue. And there's a thyroid epidemic out there. So dogs get sick and have behavior issues because of the thyroid issues, and nobody actually does the proper testing,
Right.
right? And then
Thyroid can do bad things.
right? And then we have issues like in incomplete digestive system. So the digestive system is so damaged that the dog actually has a problem to regulate his hormones and his feelings, like lack of nutrients and lack of probiotics.
Absolutely.
So shifting food, improving probiotics, and getting a dog a detox sometimes it addresses 30% of the behavior issue right off the bat.
Right. Always remember, everybody's heard of food allergies. Dogs are allergic to chicken and the food. Guess what? That changes behavior.
Right?
Okay. And by the way, the number one food allergen, in the opinion of, I forget who wrote this, wasn't the protein source. It was wheat was the number one allergen.
Right. And if you go a little bit deeper to that, the reason why dogs are sensitive to those is because they have leaky guts, which means the intestinal system is so damaged that actually protein and all these allergens leaking in the bloodstream.
And I've also read a couple of studies now that are indicating that, for example, they're allergic. You don't feed them food with chicken in it. They're indicating that if you boil a chicken and give it to them, they're not allergic to that because it's the processing source. That is what their allergen is. They're creating chicken allergies by the way it's processed.
And by the way, not forgetting that I feed my dog chicken and rice since 2005 and then expect my dog not to be allergic. Nature itself says if you eat too much of one protein, you're going to kill the whole species.
That's right.
Out.
That's right.
So protein rotation is very important. But honestly, another study, since we're talking about studies, has proven that 15 of 18 brands don't even consider to have the ingredients listed on their bag.
And here's the best one. There's a lawsuit getting ready to start up against prescription foods because they're finding there's no prescription. There's nothing in there that requires a prescription.
This is so bad. Then we talk all the doctors liars.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get sued now.
Right? Yeah. Look, prescription means FDA, but FDA has no clue about dog food.
Yeah, FDA doesn't do dog food.
Doesn't supervise food. So
No.
who came up with a prescription? Because a doctor prescribes you the dog food doesn't mean it's prescription food.
Right. So
It's like my Jiffy oil changing company next door who change oil for $15. They prescribe me their oil for me to put in there, kind of thing.
yep. So all right. Well, we're really on overtime, Roman, and you got a session coming up too. So you got to go anyway. Private chat. I'm in trouble now. Oh, you even said we got to wrap it up. Sorry, Roman.
I shut up.
All right, everybody. As promised, we're going to play Sully's video as the exit video. Bye, Phil. Thanks for coming. Well, hang on a second here. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. And, we'll see you all next week. Hang on. I got to find Sully's video. There it is.